Well, I'm here at the Houston Light Guard Armory, my first unit's old armory building. This vestibule here is the entrance. I'm standing on top of the stairwell. Nice terrazzo. It's 100 years old. Come down here. This is the doorway I walked through my very last time as a civilian. I was almost 17 years old and ended up going up that stairwell into the office overhead and got sworn in for the first time. Yeah, 17. For the next 4 years, this was my initial experience as a soldier in the U.S. Army. Back in those days, 1981 onward, we were the only, well, except for a counterpart in Michigan, we were the only two Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol companies left in the entire United States Army. Both were National Guard, not regular. There's G Company, 143rd Infantry Regiment, right here in Houston, Texas, downtown, 3816 Caroline Street. The other was up in Pontiac, Michigan. You know, I never once saw these fireplaces get used. There's one just like it on the other side. This used to be our company museum. The exhibits have been moved upstairs a long time ago. The Buffalo Soldiers Association, descendants of the original 10th Cavalry Regiment. Back in the unfortunate days of the segregated U.S. Army, they were an all-black unit. Very good one, by the way. Their descendants have their national museum here. They use this mostly for storage, but this used to be the NCO club. We imbibed a few after drill in this room. Down this stairway, office spaces and some of the exhibits of the museum open to the public are down at the bottom. Coming off of this landing, we had this area that's closed off now, but there used to be a second hallway in there. We used to keep our classroom in there, and off to the right, which is a museum. A lot of reconstruction here. They've totally renovated the building. This used to be the supply room, a very big one. We had a lot of stuff in there for a unit of our size. Where you have the lift and the entry in there, our mess section did their work. We had a very good one. Back that way, we had the communications vault. That's where I started and spent my first 18 months as a young soldier before I moved on to a patrol as a radio operator. We used to keep our weapons room that way. Let's go back upstairs. Yeah, a lot of history in this building. Completed in 1925. It's almost 100 years old. They actually started the construction around 22, 23. Here we go. I'll come back and make a still photo of that before too long. This is an official historical site designated by the state of Texas since 21 April 1982. I was in this unit at the time. I think by that time I had only been in for about a year. I was one of the younger troops back then and still am, since this unit was deactivated and none of us are all that young anymore. I don't know of anybody that was in this unit at the very end that's under 50. You wouldn't know it to look at me. Haha. Here's some of our original exhibits. Springfield down front. That's a Krag Jørgensen Model 1893 rifle there in the middle. It's got a weird action, but there's videos on YouTube to look that one up. Springfield trapdoor type. That's got an interesting action. Back when this unit was activated in the big one, Schmeisser MP40 submachine gun, Maschinenpistole. One of our guys in the unit back then brought that back from the big one. A lot of silver displays here. Some of this stuff goes back, like that uniform. back to this unit's original founding in 1873.
That's right.
And we had been federalized and called to active service and deployed in both world wars. Narrowly missed Vietnam as part of an Airborne Brigade, and then became a Ranger company for a while. Bayonets, swords. Yeah, these go back to the 1800s. Bayonets were a trapdoor Springfield. Officers' swords. It's kind of tradition that only officers carried swords in the American or the British military when they were still in fashion. Kind of going back to antiquity, they were always very expensive to make, and it was usually only the people in the higher ranks that could afford one. Everybody else has other weapons that pack a much more potent blow, so that was no skin off anyone's back to not have a sword. Here we go. Long range surveillance, that's how we were redesignated in 1988. I'll try to get a better photograph of that lineage there and post it for the audience. Back in the days of the Airborne Brigade in the 70s and late 60s. That deactivated and became the LRRP company just before I was old enough to join. So, yeah, the LRRP company, that was the first unit I was ever in. Ruined me for the rest of the military. They really set the standards. Drill hall floor. As a young commo soldier, this spot right here where this elevator and some of these internal rooms have been built, that used to be where a communications platoon stood in formation. We didn't just hang out in the rear, we were responsible for providing telecommunications support for the LRRP teams and had to deploy ourselves. Had to maintain quick reaction force capability. For the guys with no prior service, that was quite an initiation. And it turned out, since that was my original specialty, that the extra technical training I got doing that before I moved on to a patrol was absolutely essential. I mean, I was an indispensable man, and a lot of the top team leaders that we had over the years and top leaders actually got their start that way, not in the traditional infantry, scout, or rifleman role. A lot of people find that surprising. For my non-US viewers, this is the flag of the state of Texas. It used to be a sovereign republic until we joined the United States as an additional state. Speaker stage here. The front of this, I don't know if it's still fitted to do this. All of this used to fold up, and we had an indoor small bore range in here. We could only shoot 22s and air guns and small stuff in here, but at least we had an indoor range of some kind. For environmental reasons, if we were still active today, we wouldn't be able to use this indoors because we don't have the proper ventilation system yet. All my years coming in and out of this armory, you know, I never set foot back here except to clean it occasionally. You know, when you're one of the more junior guys just starting out, yeah, you get snagged for those tasks at times. That stairway is original. Let's go up there. Ascending. Actually, no, it's not original. They did put this in. Could have had you fooled from a distance. Yeah, this landing here. It used to not be a landing except for a very small balcony, and we have a stairway that used to go up to a projection room. That drill hall 4 used to double as a theater. And this whole area, we've got this elevator lift to you non-US types here now. Kitchen's kind of moved. That wasn't there before, but I'll talk about this in a moment. We had the offices, what we call the orderly room in the Army, but it's, you know, basically the office area. That's being converted to kind of a combination bar room and dinner theater and the like, but this used to be an office. Good afternoon, ladies. We share this space now. We're kind of guests anymore, but the Buffalo Soldiers have done a great job of renovating the building. This was our office area, and over near the spot where the gentleman in the Stetson is standing, that was the very place I was standing when I was sworn in for the first time. Yeah, fantastic restoration job here. Yeah, we kind of hated to see this unit go, but a lot of the guys that were still on the books when they were disbanded went on to do some really outstanding things in the military. Out of the guys in the unit when I was there and onward, we have produced no less than 6 men who made the rank of general, if you can believe that, out of a unit that never had more than 180 men at any one time. Well, let's go back out to the drill hall floor. That's the interior of what the Houston Light Guard Armory looks like today. And I'll cut this short and come back later.